Hey guys, welcome back to Simply Fit. And remember, we're on a mission to save 1 million lives by encouraging individuals to live a simply fit life through health and nutrition by providing simple tips and strategies to individuals so that they're able to overcome suicide and depression. I'm Sandy White, your number one health and wellness cheerleader and the host of Simply Fit. Now, if you guys don't know or remember, September is Suicide Prevention Month. And so, what we've done for this segment is we have invited Tricia Silverman on to talk to you guys about health and wellness. And she is an international award winning Amazon best-selling author of her new book, Healthy Dividends Investments in Nutrition, Movement, and Healthy Habits That Pay Off. So before we bring Tricia on, we want to always thank WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network for allowing Simply Fit to be on their platform. Now, guys, their mission is education, empowerment, and encouragement. So go check out the website and see all of the wonderful things that we're doing in the community. And it may be something that you can use right now or something that you can bless someone with the information that is I'm speaking of. So share the website with them. And with that being said, let's welcome Tricia to the show. How are you, Tricia?
Hi, Sandy. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hold that book up again because I don't know if they saw it when I was talking about the
Okay.
book. That's her new book, Healthy Dividends. And we're going to be talking about a lot of wonderful information she's got in there later on in the show. So before we get into all of the juiciness, now you've got a lot going on. So I know that you are a registered dietitian, you are a group fitness instructor, and a wellness coach. Now, do you still do all three of those things?
I do. I do. I'm focusing more on a lot more on the nutrition now. And over the last year, I've been training to become a yoga instructor.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm pushing my fitness into another direction. And I'm just right at the tail end of getting my yoga certification. So I'll be combining nutrition and yoga very soon. And I've taught strength training with bands and weights in the past, and now I'm moving more into strength training with those things, but adding yoga to that as well. I think that yoga and meditation are so helpful for your mind to help, and your body, of course, but to help you make better choices and to feel better. And I'm really excited to be here because your mission is so important, and it's all about how can we feel better. And I think that yoga and meditation and moving helps you to make better choices. And the science supports this as well. And then it can really impact your nutrition because a lot of people, they know what to do. You probably hear that. I know what to do with my nutrition. How many people, right? Have you heard that say,
Right,
I know,
right.
but it's about doing it. And when you meditate, and meditation can be prayer. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes people hear meditation and they think it's something that they can't grasp onto, but if you pray, that's a form of meditation. So meditation really brings you into the moment. And so by getting my yoga certification, I'll be able to help more people, I feel, because I can catch people at different angles where they maybe need a little more support. So in addition to the nutrition, I also do wellness coaching, and I combine that all together where I meet with people individually and I use a lot of tools to help them on their wellness journey. And I like to call it a journey because we're all on a journey and we can all keep learning. I keep learning. There's always more things to learn. So as a coach, I help people with strategies that are really specific to them. It used to be when I was just a dietitian, that I would give people like a lot of handouts, do this, do that. And as a coach, I listen to them and where they're at, and then help them with what they're willing to do to move toward more optimal health. So I do a lot of different things within my business. So the coaching and the nutrition, and I teach at a university. I teach healthy aging, and a lot of how I help people is from understanding at a deep level what it takes to live a long, healthy life. So when I help people, I feel like it's helping them to live longer in the end. And that's really the premise of the book. If you invest in healthy habits, you'll live a longer life. And that's one of the best dividends you can get on an investment.
I agree. Now, you said some key things, which was you listen, which a lot of coaches don't do. They want to do a one and done. And there's no such thing as a one and done because everybody is different. Everybody's on a different journey. And where I may be, Sally Sue may not be. So when you share with individuals that it's a journey, but it's a listening process, how do you get people to like totally open up? Because you also mentioned that you teach healthy aging. I may have said it wrong at the university. So if they're not honest about what's going on, you can't help them to live a healthy, long life. So what are some tips or some strategies that you work with your clients that our listening audience can maybe pick up on and not be so embarrassed about? Because I think a lot of people aren't honest about where they are, so you can't hear properly because they won't share. So are there any nuggets that you help people to relax and feel comfortable with to tell
Sure.
you where they are?
Sure. Well, the way that I end up meeting a lot of my clients is that I do a lot of speaking. So I speak at conferences, I speak at employee wellness locations, and I've been doing it virtually over the last COVID year too. And people get to know me through there. So for people looking to gain clients, sometimes whether you do paid or free speaking, people can get to know you and they start to trust you from knowing you a bit. And then when you meet with them, it's really developing a rapport and being empathetic and putting yourself in their shoes and really helping them where they're at and helping them with baby steps. And to get people to talk more, it's about asking open-ended questions, not yes or no questions. And I send people a questionnaire before we even begin. And the questionnaire isn't just like, what do you eat? It goes a little, a little deeper than that. I have a couple different questionnaires depending on what clients are coming to me for. And my coaching questionnaire is simple. There are 6 questions on it. And one of them talks about what are your, what makes you feel good and what are your energizers? And that gets people thinking. It's often spending time with family, maybe it's reading, maybe it's photography. And when I work with my clients, I always read through my former notes and the questionnaire to remind me what they like to do. And that might be a starting point. I have clients that love horseback riding. I have clients that love to visit family in other states. And I may start with the question about that. And I write down when I talk to them, oh, they just had a grandson. And so when I talk to them again, oh, how's your grandson doing? Did you get to see him? So it's about the small things really help to establish that rapport over time. So jotting down notes and really listening so you remember those things. I have a headset when I meet with people so that my hands are free and I can write down little notes as we go through the call. And then at the end, I write them a very personalized goal list where in the past, before I became a coach, I would just send people a bunch of handouts, like read all these and do it. And that, they probably never read them. Now I send an email that has a list very specific to them and our call and what they're willing to do. And I use that word willing a lot with people. What are you willing to do? I might tell you to cut your sugar down really low. Don't eat any added sugar. But are you willing to do that? Maybe not. So we'll work with, well, can we limit it? What can we limit it to? Maybe you can stop eating that certain cookie that you're eating at night. We'll start there. And so for everyone, it's a little bit different where they're at. And for people completely sedentary, just moving and taking a 5-minute walk gets them in that motion. It's better than no moving at all. So everyone's different, and all the clients that come to me, it's about finding out where they're at and then helping them take baby steps. And some people, many people, if not most people, take baby steps. And then, over time, all those steps together really give them momentum. But I feel that for people that are stuck, small bits of movement can really get them going and feeling better. They don't have to feel like they have to do an hour walk. Do a 5-minute walk. That's going to make you feel good and get you in that motion and momentum to maybe do a 6-minute walk tomorrow and maybe a 10-minute walk, at the end of the week. And then maybe you work up from there. And, that's how I work with, many of my clients. And it's just a real joy when I get an email that says I did it, whether that's the 5-minute walk or, the 30-minute, workout on the elliptical. So having a coach is really helpful for accountability. And even for coaches to have coaches can be really helpful as well, because we're all on our own journeys. And I find that the more support that we have, the better that that it can be.
I totally agree. And I love the little tips, that you share and you make them personal because, like you said, everybody's not willing to do what the next person is. And if you could just do a little bit today, that's a win. And some people don't even look at it like that. But what I didn't ask you so that the audience will know, how did you actually get into health and wellness? Was this like your overall dream, like to go to college and be a dietitian? Or what prompted you to go in that direction? And then was that same goal the reason you wrote the book?
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So as a kid, I was an overweight kid, bullied a little bit here and there. It didn't feel good, and didn't understand why was I overweight. And I came to understand that as I got older, a lack of movement. We ate pretty healthy in my family Monday through Friday, but Saturday and Sunday were off the rails, and it was just a lot of heavy eating. My dad owned a deli in New York, and we would go with him when he would close up the deli. And while he was doing the accounting, we would gather food for a family pig out. And then we'd go home, it'd be like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm a kid, 7, 8, 9 years old. And we would have like cookies and chips and ice cream. And then the next day he would go out early to the deli and bring home bagels and donuts and cookies. And I'd be eating that all day. And then Monday through Friday would be really super healthy. So I didn't understand, like, why am I overweight? But it was, and that's what I equate when people are old. People now, oftentimes on the weekends, they kind of say, oh, it's a cheat day. But as we age, a whole cheat day can really undo all the healthy things you do Monday through Friday. So I'm not saying don't eat fun food once in a while, but don't make it an all day thing over the weekend, because that can really undo things. So, I was this overweight kid, and in my teen years, I started bike riding, and I found that the bike riding really helped me to lose weight. And I thought that was really interesting. So I had that interest in nutrition, and, Jane Fonda and Richard Simmons were coming out at the time. And I was really excited with that whole aerobics kind of movement. And then the fat-free craze was in the 80s. And I kind of, got onto that craze of the fat-free eating. I was interested in nutrition and just didn't understand. And back then it was kind of told that, oh, you can eat all this stuff and you won't gain weight. And like, it was interesting to me because I found that, it was harder to maintain weight when you ate all this fat-free stuff. Too much eating of anything really isn't good. We all have to have a balance and a budget, more or less. So I when I was in high school, my guidance counselor said, what do you want to do in college? And I said, well, I like nutrition and fitness. And she said, well, you can't do both. Pick one. And meanwhile, you can do both.
Right.
But I didn't know. I didn't know. And that was all, we didn't have the internet then. So I said nutrition. But I really have always loved both. I love movement. And so I picked nutrition and, went deep into nutrition for many years. But I was always a fitness enthusiast on the side. And I taught aerobics in college. And I became certified again as a fitness instructor after college, and then just kept that certification over the years, and then combined nutrition and fitness for the employee wellness programs that I lead. And I've led numerous programs where they're half nutrition and half fitness. And I help people on their journeys. Many of them are focused on weight loss to help people, and or just getting and staying healthy. And we even have, I've run some programs that are staying healthy during the holidays, because that's a real troubling time for a lot of people. And so that's kind of where I ended up. And then the book came about because I always like to learn and see what works for me, but then tie that with actual science and research studies, and then help people with what I learn. And that's how the book came about. It's really a passion project, and it's like everything I know I put into the book. And it's been a really fun experience.
Oh my goodness. So guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to ask Tricia about some of these wonderful things that she has inside of the Healthy Dividends book. So we'll be right back.
We're calling all golfers, amateur and professional alike, to come tee off at the first annual Tee Off for Youth Financial Literacy Golf Classic Charity Tournament on October 30th from 1 to 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Join WYTV7 at the Old Sycamore Golf Plantation and help raise money to train, mentor, and support the next generation of literate, creative, and independent young entrepreneurs. You can register as a sponsor, a player, or a team by calling our office Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 980-202-2915. You can also visit us online at www.wytv7.org/golf-classic-tournament for more information on how you can participate in the tournament. So let's hit the greens together and help create a more prosperous future for Charlotte, one tee at a time.
Hey guys, we're back from our commercial break. I'm Sandy White, the host of Simply-FITT, and we have been having a wonderful, wonderful communication with Tricia Silverman. Now, Tricia, can you do me a favor? Can you hold up your book so they can see the book that we've been talking about?
Okay. There's the book, and it's Healthy Dividends, Investments in Nutrition, Movement, and Healthy Habits That Pay Off.
So now, with that being said, can you give the audience 2 self-coaching strategies from the book that will be helpful for them?
Yeah. One of them is to break the ice on your wellness and on your exercise. And what I mean by that, and we alluded to it a little earlier, is just do a little bit of something to get into that momentum. And an example is, I had a woman that came up to me in a program, and she said, I know I need to exercise. That's my problem. And I said, well, what's getting in the way? And she said, I'm not sure. And I said, well, do you have any exercise equipment? And she said, I have a treadmill. And I told her, well, why don't you just get on there tonight? And she said, no. And I said, okay, well, tell me why. And she said, there's stuff on it. So I said, okay, can you make a goal to clean the treadmill tonight and get on it tomorrow? And she said, yeah, okay. So that night she cleaned off the treadmill, got on it the next day, and then she sent me a picture of a cleaned up treadmill. So breaking the ice is doing little things to help to get you ahead. Now, so that might be a 5-minute walk. It could be getting on that treadmill 5 minutes. It could be a cleanup project that many people don't have enough space to work out, and they need to clean that area. Now, another self-coaching strategy that can be really super helpful is to log your food on a site like Lose It, Noom, or MyFitnessPal. My clients tend to use Lose It or MyFitnessPal, and I've had amazing success with weight loss with these clients.
So now, when guys, we'll put the those information down, the MyFitnessPal and New, so you can track your meals. Now, those are two self-coaching strategies that Tricia provided. Now, with us still being in COVID, and now they're saying there's a Delta virus coming through, you need to make sure that your immune system is up and running. And a lot of people don't connect when they're sedentary and they're not eating well, and then they're putting themselves at risk. So what are some strategies that they can do, maybe one or two strategies that they can use to support their immune system?
Two strategies that I think can be really helpful. One is boost up your vegetable and fruit intake. Half of your plate, try to make that vegetables. So we want more vegetables and a lot of color. In the back, you see I have a rainbow poster to remind people to eat a rainbow array of vegetables and fruit. Super important for your immune system. The other thing that many people don't know is that sugar can affect your immune system in a negative way. So we want to decrease the added sugar in the diet. And be careful, because some places, like a popular nationwide donut coffee shop place, one of their ice cream frozen coffee drinks has over 40 teaspoons of added sugar. So here's, just to show you what that looks like in one of their large cups. And when you put it in a regular size cup, my sugar's falling all over the place here, you can see it actually fills up an entire cup. So we want to be really careful with these drinks. You want to limit or avoid sugary drinks. It's really easy to drink that sugar down. But if I gave you this through the screen to eat, you would find a hard time trying to eat that cup of sugar, but it's easy to drink it down in a beverage. So be careful with the sugary beverages.
So pretty much you want to read your labels, and sugar knocks your immune system down for about 24 hours, if I'm correct. It's about 24 hours that it like jacks you up. So you're just not protected. So you want to read those labels as best as possible. Now, are there any suggestions that you could probably give to folks outside of fiber, what they can take to crave, so they can stop having additional cravings? Because at a certain time, people go bonkers with, wanting sugar and carbs and all of that stuff. So that'll probably help without them, having so much sugar in their system.
Right. So when you have a craving, try to satisfy it with fruit first. A clementine is a really good example because they're so sweet that they can really knock out that craving. And then we can do other things. Like, one of my favorite things to do is to take frozen dark sweet cherries and to sprinkle a little bit of unsweetened cocoa powder over it. And it tastes like a nice chocolatey dessert. And you can even actually make a nice cream out of it by just adding a frozen banana, putting it in a blender, and putting a little bit of almond butter or some nuts in there. And it can really make it a nice blended frozen treat, which can be pretty delicious.
Oh, I've not heard of that one. Now, that is a good one. So now you also, some individuals were saying that they enjoyed making a vision board. Now, was that in your book? Because I was just reading some of the comments. Now, you teach people how to do that, so it's beneficial. What is that one about?
Yeah. Oh, great. So a vision board is a visual representation of what you want in your future. And it can be so much fun to make a vision board. And on that board, it can be your nutrition. It can be if you want weight loss. You can put a picture of people exercising. You can put a picture of, if you want to get married, a couple together. You can put, if you want financial success, you can, put make a fake $1 million bill, whatever you want in your future. And a big piece of fun experiences that don't have to cost anything at all. I love sunsets, for example. So they're all over my vision board. It's a reminder to go see the sun. It makes me happy. So you put things on there that you want, and then you keep it in an area of your house or your office where you're reminded of what you want out of life. And then we want to take inspired action to get toward that. So my book was on there, the yoga certification was on there. There was a conference company I wanted to speak at their conferences that was on there. And these things have been coming to life. And I feel very strongly it's because the vision board helped me to realize what I want. And it can be very inspiring. So the different aspects of your life, you can put things on there. Another example is like I put a picture of the cover of a healthy eating magazine, at Clean Eating magazine, and that was a reminder to keep trying new recipes.
That's really good. And I'm glad you said that because guess what, guys? September starts the long train of holidays. And Tricia said something earlier about learning how to eat during the holidays. So you guys don't want to go buck wild during that time because I'm telling you, when September hits, it's like all the way until January. So are there 2 or 3 tips you can provide to the individuals that are listening to the broadcast of what they can do to stay on track during the holidays? And then we're going to go right into, because we're down to our last 5 minutes of letting them know how to reach you. And my last thing is, are you doing online training with the book yet? If you can talk about that. 2 or 3
Sure.
things for to stay on track for the holidays, how they can reach you, and if you're doing online training with your book.
Okay, great. So one strategy is to, when you think about that holiday season, to pick and choose the events where maybe you will have some of those special items, and then not make every event an overeating event. So maybe you have an aunt or uncle that maybe makes a special pecan pie or a cheesecake, and maybe you want that one night. Well, maybe make that the splurge. But if you have another party that week, maybe that's when we bring a healthy dish and we keep it healthy so that you're not eating heavy things all throughout the season. We want to kind of limit when we have it. And I'm not saying you can't have any of that stuff, just don't have it all the time. And then the second strategy during that time is to try to do things to keep your stress level low. Because when we're stressed, that's when we tend to eat more. Start shopping now. I keep a gift bin, and when I see things throughout the year that maybe one of my kids will like, I put that aside. I buy that and put it aside so it's ready when that time comes. So start shopping for the holidays early, and do exercise, meditate, pray, whatever works for you to help keep that stress level down, because stress often leads to increased eating or drinking, and then that can really kind of spiral for us and lead to excess weight and other issues.
Now, how can they reach you?
Sure. So you can reach me at TriciaSilverman.com. That's TriciaSilverman.com. And I do one-on-one coachings with people. So that's how I work with people. And then there's a lot of free events that are free to people that I advertise through my social media. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So you can find me there, and then we'll have access to a lot of free events. And then there are some paid events for some different companies that I work for as well. But I do a lot of things that are that end up being free, which is fun.
We have had an outstanding time talking with you, Tricia. I appreciate that. Guys, go to her website, check out all of the wonderful things that she has. And if you need one-on-one coaching with her, you're in New York, right?
I have that New York accent. I'm actually in Needham, Massachusetts.
Oh, Massachusetts. Okay, so if you guys are in need and you're in the Massachusetts area, you have no excuse. That was the point I was trying to get to. You have a coach that will talk to you, be very personal, and get you where you need to go. So guys, we have had an enjoyable time. I just want to let you know that I'm your host, your #1 health and wellness cheerleader, Sandy White, the host of Simply-FITT. We broadcast on WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network, and we broadcast on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. So make sure you set your time, your clock, so you don't miss anything during the Eastern Standard Time Zone, which is at 7 p.m. our time. Put your book back up, Tricia, so they can see it, and make sure you go get the Healthy Dividends book. It is outstanding, and you will be on track for the longest life that you possibly want to live. Thank you for being on the show, Tricia.
Thank you, Sandy. It was a pleasure. I really appreciate your time and you having me here today. Thank you, everyone, and best of luck and health to everyone listening.